In today's video, I ask higher wisdom, do I have a purpose? And on the second day, I ask, how do I find my purpose? I hope you find these answers as interesting as I do. I'm Miachel. Welcome to Sprinkled with Love and Wisdom, where I read my channeled messages while I create something sweet. Hit the subscribe button if this is your cup of tea, and hit the notification bell if you want to know when I post a new video. This week, I attempt another cake with a buttercream knit pattern. I tried really hard to make a level, even cake with smooth buttercream, but I need a lot more practice. So my pattern is still wonky and crooked, but it was also fun.
Question: do I have a purpose? Answer: we are glad you asked the question because there is often guilt around the topic of purpose. And as we have mentioned often, guilt is a very destructive emotion. We would like everyone to begin by releasing any guilt around not finding a clear and well-defined purpose. Here is the deal. Yes, all of you arrived in this lifetime with some specific goals. There were lessons you wanted to learn, things you wanted to create and experience. Yes, this is true. This is a plane of actualization. You can read about love in a book, but that is very different than having an actual experience with love. You can think about building something, but that isn't nearly as satisfying as actually building something. You can think about driving a new car, which is different than driving a new car. Yes, you can read about how bad it is to betray a loved one, but it is a much more real experience if you betray a loved one. There is much value by way of learning and growing and changing and creating in having a physical life, which is why you chose to be physical. This is a plane of experience, and experience leads to real growth and change on a soul level. So all of you chose to have a physical life because you wanted hands-on experience with something. Many things, actually. Now, where you get tripped up is that you want to narrow down this idea of purpose too much. For example, no one came to this life to specifically cure cancer. Someone who cures cancer would have the purpose of learning about healing or compassion or empathy or oneness or connection or love, any of those. Dare we mention again that on your particular plane, all of you are working on self-love. And if you understood about self-love, you would understand about cancer. All of your purposes are more general than you expect. Many of you think you have to have a certain job, career, partner, etc. You think there are specifics picked out for you that are not picked out like that. There are countless roads that lead to where you want to go. We will give you another hint besides self-love. At this time and dimension, you are working on understanding your connection to each other and understanding your connection to the source of life. This is a very broad topic of development on your plane at this time. Now, we would like to also point out that yes, you have very personal goals. And how do you find those personal goals? You listen to yourself. You follow the threads of excitement and joy. You do not travel down the roads that your gut warns you about. You are out of habit of listening to yourself. There is a part of you that remembers your goals. You can call it your higher self. You can call it your superconsciousness. You are connected to that part of you, but you often can't hear it speaking to you because your ego mind is so loud. Your higher self whispers. It speaks in gut feelings, in the sense of following your heart. Your ego mind weighs in what everyone else thinks and says on a subject. You must get into the habit of listening to yourself and trusting yourself. So if you want to find your life's purpose, follow what you are excited about. Follow what makes you happy. Listen to your gut when it tells you not to move forward with certain decisions. Listen to your heart. Listening to your intuition becomes easier the more you do it. You have all the intelligence you could ever need right inside of yourself. The one entity that knows you best and knows what is best for you is right within you. And since it speaks in whispers, you must get into the habit of quieting your thoughts on a daily basis. We will continue to sound like a broken record until it becomes common knowledge. Question: how do I find my purpose? Answer: let's look at the overarching themes of humanity at this time. We have mentioned often that each individual has the goal of expressing themselves uniquely while appreciating the expressions of others. We have mentioned that all humans at this time and space need to work on their self-love. And all human beings on this dimension are working on their understanding of their connection to others, to their environment, to their communities, to their source, etc. These are overarching goals of human beings on this plane. So if your jobs or hobbies include ways for you to work on those goals, you would be serving your purpose. However, everyone has more than one purpose. Each individual is unique, so there will obviously be differences in purposes. One way for people to find these is to pay attention to their interests. People need to follow what brings them happiness and excitement. People should pay attention to what they are naturally good at. Occasionally, it helps to remember what you loved as a child because life hadn't had time to redirect your interests. What would you do or create for free? What things do others consider tedious that you very much enjoy? What skills have you chosen to develop? What videos do you look up to learn? What books would you read if you had to read a book? What do you choose to do in your free time? And are these things good for you? Some of your activities are distractions and not very good for you. This isn't a genuine interest, and it would benefit you to understand the difference. Here's the thing. Many areas of your society are set up exactly opposite of your overarching goals. Your egos are in place so that you can express uniquely. They speak to you in that voice in your head. They are perfectly designed for this. And if they were equally balanced with the silence in your head, you would live in a much different world. The silence is where you find your connection. When you are silent, you have a very real experience of being connected to everything else. But most of you are all ego. You don't take the time to quiet your thoughts at all, so you are very out of balance. Tyrannical egos have been consumed with power. They have created self-serving institutions that violate the rights of individuals. Loud egos have caused a lot of problems in your society. Children are in schools they hate, adults are in jobs they hate, people are trying to escape from the fact that they are getting very little joy from life. So we would suggest, as we always do, that you take time to quiet your mind. We have heard it said that, quote, in the silence there are answers, end quote, and we would agree. But also in the silence is the balance you need in your life. Your egos focus on only you, but the silence focuses on us, and you are both. You need more balance here. Also, there is safety, security, peace, and love in the silence. When you really have an experience of connection to everything else, those things we just listed become something tangible in your lives. And if you aren't out there fighting for your share or struggling to keep up or bearing the stress of not having those things, then you can feel the joy again. We say this because too many of you can't follow joy because you can't remember joy. If that is the case, start quieting your thoughts. We know it takes effort and you think you don't have time for it, but it's too important to put off any longer. It takes a bit of practice, but it is worth it. There is love in the silence that you will actually feel. There is security there. You don't have to sit in a quiet room for this. You can just quiet your thoughts during your daily activities and be more in the present moment. The here and present now has been said to be the only thing that matters, but that is more meaningful than most of you understand. Now is filled with everything you want or need, but your thoughts are so loud you can't experience now at all. To find your purpose, follow your joy. If you can't find joy, then find the present moment. Meditate. Use your physical senses to be present. Ask yourself if your interests are genuine or avoidance. If they are genuine, your purpose probably lies within. If it is avoidance, do the work to stop avoiding your life and start embracing it. It takes some work to be present and to quiet your loud egos, but it is worth it, we promise.